Should Padres fans, or maybe even the team, be worried that they'll miss the playoffs? We'll talk about that and more tonight on Padres. Talking Padres. Everybody, and welcome to Padres Talking Padres. My name is Jay, and with me, as always, is Mr. Homestretch, Jack Glatfelter himself, and Mr. Calm, Cool, Collected, Steady Hand in Stormy Waters, Jerry Clinton. How you doing?
No, doing good. How about you, man?
Good. I'm doing well. So Jerry, you wanted the lead topic tonight to be something along the lines of on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your anxiety about the Padres making the playoff? 1, not at all, and 10, losing sleep, worrying. Something that's really cool in YouTube in the live chat is I can actually put a poll in the chat, so anybody that's watching right now,
okay, all right,
can let their voices be heard. If I can scroll down, there we go. I can scroll down here. So how should I can put 4 options on a poll. So should it be like 1,
2, 3, 4 is fine. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine. Yeah.
Scale of 1, 2.
Yeah, I'm
4.
plagiarizing a little bit. This was on the local radio station. Again, I told you guys before, Thursdays they do a 1-hour uninterrupted just discussion about Padre baseball, and this was one I thought was pretty intriguing when they put it in there about, obviously I know Jack, he follows X a lot, and there's everything on the whole wide range of people who aren't worried at all, and then there's people who are already casting dispersions on what are they doing. Well, oh my gosh,
the ones
the
that
sky
aren't
is
worried.
falling. Yeah.
Are you new to San Diego?
Yeah.
First, what's that meme where Franco, what's his name? James Franco's got a noose around his neck.
Oh, it's his first time or whatever.
First time?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I put in the chat now. It's in the poll. People are putting, you can put in, we have 7 people watching right now. Feel free, drop your thoughts in the poll. 1 being not worried at all. 4 being very worried. I think Jerry put his losing sleep at night over it, and 2 and 3 is somewhere in between that. So we're getting votes in. So go ahead and cast your votes. We have a couple comments in the chat already, so let's plus those in. We got Tamara Glatfelter. I'm a little worried. Would that be like a 2? A little bit worried?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, okay. I don't know. When they brought up the poll, basically one guy said 0, and I'm like, I don't think that's realistic. I mean, until you clinch, there's always this little, come on, yeah. But
I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious.
Yeah, exactly. And the bottom line is, my answer was somewhere around 3 or 4
out of 10.
Out of 10, yeah. Okay. And the reason being,
let me plus in the second chat, and then we'll get to your full thoughts here. Right. Michael Traverso, who is a Yankees fan, I believe. No, sir. No, they will not miss the playoffs. So. Now we know Michael has jinxed them, and they will miss the playoffs.
Thanks. Way to go, Michael.
Yeah, exactly. Got to have some faith. Then again, I'm a Yankees fan. Hey, listen, Yankees they're going to make the playoffs too. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, Jerry. Now you have the floor. Why are you a 3 or 4 out of scale of 10?
I think the biggest thing is something I continue to harp on with all these scenarios where if the Padres go, 5-5 or whatever it is now, 16 games, I believe it is, they go 8-8.
Yeah.
What's the other team's got to do to get there? And I think the biggest thing is there's 3 spots for 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So the likelihood of all 3 of those teams passing the Padres, I think, are pretty minimal.
Mm-hmm.
Can be done, but pretty minimal.
Yeah.
I think the real gist of my faith, so to speak, is that a lot of those teams are going to be playing some very difficult schedules.
Mm-hmm.
So, Atlanta having to play Philly, The Mets having to play Philly. The Dodgers have got to play. Who is it? I send it to you, but they've got some rough schedules. Yeah, the Braves. So there's
us.
Yeah. So I think we're going to find ourselves after this weekend, even, or maybe the next week and a half, we're going to find ourselves talking more about seeding, who's passing who. I think the division clarity will be a little bit more precise. Yeah.
This weekend is huge, right? Because the Dodgers are playing the Braves, and the Braves, out of those 4 teams, are on the outside looking in.
Right. Barely, but yes.
Yeah, barely, but they are. And we hold the tiebreaker with them, which adds an extra game, right, to their whatever win.
To them specifically, yes.
Yes, to us.
Right.
And
unfortunately, it goes the other way around with the Mets, though. The Mets have that one game on us.
Yes, they do.
And the Arizona has yet to be decided. Split. Which is kind of the scary thing to me, those last 3 games having to go against Arizona. I hope they don't mean a whole lot. That's my hope.
It's very true. It's very true. And we'll have to kind of see. I think it'd be fun if because it's Dodgers Diamondbacks close out the season. It'd be fun if we already have it clinched, but it decides the seeding, right? Like if that last series against the Diamondbacks decides, are we home field or not, or whatever.
It'd be much more relaxing to watch. Yes.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, we'll see this. There's stakes, but at least we're in,
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll have to wait and see. But I think, we'll talk about this more when we get to this weekend series with the Giants. It makes us going 2 for 2 out of 3 this weekend. Absolutely. That will kind of cement us, or at least put us in a good position coming out of this weekend. But I like your case here, Jerry. Totally think that's a valid perspective to have. Mr. Homestretch, where do you side on the worry scale?
It depends on the hour of the day.
Hey, at least you're honest, Jack. I gotta say, yeah.
I looked after last night's games. I looked. I go, okay, tonight's games mean nothing to the Padres.
Right.
I mean, all the games. None of them meant anything. I'm like, I said, okay, so I don't have to worry about it. Today. I can just relax because I don't have to worry about it. But then I said, we have to take a sweep of the Giants would be nice.
Yeah.
But we have to take 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, we have to, because we got to start putting some. I mean, I was watching the Mets and Blue Jays game yesterday, going back and forth, watching my grandkids and stuff like that. And I came to the 9th inning. I go, why is that guy still in there?
He's pitching a no-hitter.
I know. And it wasn't until Buck Martinez said, well, he's got a no-hitter going into this 9th inning. I go, oh, that's why. But he's already thrown like 100. And then boom, Lindor. I go, God. Yeah. It's like someone on Twitter, we were going back and forth. I go, God, it would be nice if he gave up a blue pitch somewhere along the line. They could have pulled him.
Yeah.
And the next guy comes in. It was an air. They gave him a hit, but it should have been an error. And then it was walk. And it's like, because I put in the chat the first game the Mets played, they had like 2 hits, and they had bases loaded, and it was 2 passed balls that let the runs in.
Yeah,
and the Mets won, and they went they did a whole breakdown after the game, and they were saying that new thing where they got their legs sticking out so they can get a better. And he goes, if he's in position, he probably stops them all. He goes, but the analytics will tell you that getting the strike is more important than saving the run. I go, how is that even a thing?
Right,
saving you lose, you win and lose by how many runs the other team scores and how many you score, right?
No, you're right.
But so I'm watching. So I am watching the games. I will flip over and watch the game. So I am stressed. To me, the biggest thing I have with this season is it's been such a fun season, and the team is really good. I mean, people are still saying Preller should be fired if they don't make the playoffs. I said when they made all the trades at the deadline, I go, no.
Yeah,
he put together a team that has a chance to go deep in the playoffs, if not win it all, if everything goes right. So if they don't make the playoffs, that's on the players and that's on the coaching staff. So, but having said that, it's been.
Are you worried? I guess it's you're going around a lot of ways here, but
the scale keeps going up without him giving a number.
Having said that, if they don't make the playoffs, it's obviously it's a disappointing season and you're going to hurt. I mean, look how many fans were in Seattle, Padre fans.
Oh my God, are you worried?
Yes, I probably put it. I probably put it like a 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah, I again, you know, the Chargers aged me like 30 years. The Padres. I mean, look what's happened. You know what?
Thank you. He does sound like he's at an 8.
You know, you have Holiday still hasn't touched home plate.
Yeah. Hey Jay, is this surprising in any way?
I would hope after enough years it takes the edge off or something.
Speaking of the Yankees, 1998 World Series, strike 3 is called ball 3. Next thing is a grand slam. So things do go against San Diego. I mean, come on, let's just be honest.
You make your own luck, and you got to put yourself in position like they have, because that's the difference to this team. They put themselves in position when a lot of people had kind of given up on them. You know, that they were the 500 club that wasn't going to get there again. And unlike last year, they did not fold. They did not crumble. They excelled. And the bad luck of it is that the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers basically followed suit.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is really the only bad luck they've had.
And the Mets got hot again, and the Braves.
And again, I was going to jump in, but I was afraid, that you might faint or something because you were in the middle of your throws.
By the way, you can participate. Anybody watching now, we have 8 people watching. You can put your thoughts known. 1 is you're not worried at all. 4, you're very worried. We already have a few votes in there. We'll read them at the end of this segment.
If you say 1, you're drinking. I mean, there's no.
I haven't said mine yet, so you don't know mine yet. You don't know.
I don't care about yours.
But the thing is, though, is if you're a Mets fan, you got to be going, you know what? This is what the Padres did. How's it any different, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Padres went through that streak where, lo and behold, we won a game and we won it a different way. Oh, we won it this way. Oh, we won it that way. And that's what good teams do, and I continue to say this is a good team. At the very beginning of the season, Jay, I don't know if you remember me saying this, but this is a 500 team that's a 10 to 12 game winning streak away from the playoffs. They had it. And now they need to be the 500 team that gets them there, because I still believe if they go 8-8 the last 16 games, they will be in the playoffs.
Yeah. I agree. Like, to me, Jerry, you're 100% right. Like, this is it's almost like a textbook kind of thing for at least a wild card position, right? You're about 500 most of the year, and then you have that really good streak that kind of puts you into position, right? And that's the position they're in, which they are, in the second seed for the wild card, and there's 4 teams making a play for it. And the Dodgers. We're going to have to root for the Dodgers this weekend because they're playing the Braves, right? It would be great if the Dodgers beat up the Braves this weekend. That would be phenomenal. But, the Dodgers...
But will they do it because they hate the Padres?
Exactly. We'll see. Michael Traverso, the LOL Mets just haven't found their way to fail and let down their fans yet. Hold on to your beer.
Spoken like a true Yankees fan.
But yeah, I think for me personally, having been raised by Mr. 8 over here, I have worked really hard at not following in the same footsteps of being overly stressed or whatever. So I would say I'm more in Jerry's camp. I mean, exactly. See, I still have all my hair, almost 40. I'm much more in the 3-4 camp. It would have to take like an absolute bottom falling out, which could still happen. It's baseball.
It can.
Anything can happen.
Right.
2010.
But it is what it is, and they have to play the games. I can't play them for them, and I feel like they've shown all year this resiliency. At their very worst, they've been a 500 team. Which, to Jerry's point, if they can hang around there, odds are they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, and looking at schedule too, they still have 3 against the White Sox.
Right
now, usually I go, okay, that's Padres just beat up, but we know how the Padres play down to the competition.
But we've beaten the White Sox. White Sox aren't like one of those Rockies teams.
Yeah, and I also think it's late enough in the season that mistake won't happen like it would maybe in May or whatever. They had the the 3 out of 4 against the Rockies, and just where it's like,
got
okay,
swept by the Angels.
what happened, kind of thing.
And
Quite honestly, if they do, Jack, it's on them. I mean, the bottom line is, I'm not really big on history. I know you are. But I lived through all the things you're talking about. But this is not the same team as those teams. Yeah. And I say that when people start bringing up historical facts of, they've always they've always had a problem with this team, or what. And like, this is not the same. There's probably 12 new guys on this team that weren't here last year. Half the team is new. So you can't sit there and lay on last year they did this, last year they did that, or 5 years ago they did this. Heck, we had Eric Hosmer as our first baseman 5 years ago. I mean, come on,
But you can say though that they struggled against the Rockies, and they did struggle against the Rockies. No matter how many new guys they have,
that's true.
They still struggle against the Rockies this year.
But I don't think that's the Rocky. I think it's the stadium. I really do. I think that's just the fact
that us in San Diego too. We're snake bitten by them. I will readily admit it.
I think it gets. It's
maybe some Bud Black thing. He's just like, screw this team. They fired me, so we're gonna bring our all every single time.
Well, it's Bud Black.
The Dodgers say the same thing about us.
Probably.
I'm serious. I mean, we've beaten them pretty good over the last couple of years. Yeah. But yet they beat everybody else. So everybody's going to have a team. Come on. I mean, but again, this is a different team than last year. It's a completely different team. And I'm just in the camp where I'm just not that worried.
Can I offer maybe a salve to Jack's worry here? What about, this is where I think eventually the Red Sox won it all, right? They beat their curse. Eventually the Cubbies beat their curse. Eventually, if you're putting a good product on the field, it kind of breaks whatever curses that you put on yourself, right?
Oh, you still have to have talent, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And at least what the Padres have done, post 2020 on, is they've put a talented roster on the field, and they've now have bucked the historical trend of like, we either luck into the playoffs. We've had 2 really good seasons. The Yankees beat us in that one season in the World Series, but we've consistently had a really talented roster of players now for a few years in a row. And this year's no different, other than, to Jerry's point, it's a different culture. It is a different, very resilient team. And you're a couple losses the past week from the grand slam off of Suarez to lose it. And then even in that game, we were down 7 or 6-0. We almost came back to win that one 6-7. So we're still that resilient team.
I think baseball is unique in that way, and I really do, because of the 162 game. Talent will rise you to the top. There's going to be luck, and there's going to be pratfalls, and there's going to be, how did that happen? Wild pitches that score the winning run. That's going to happen. But over the course of 162 games versus football that's got 17, where one game can actually make the difference in, the whole season.
Yeah.
I think talent, will get you there. And I think that's the thing that this Padre team's. The other part of that is the playoffs are a crapshoot.
They are.
Come on. Yeah. Only one team gets to win. And guess what? There's 12 really good teams in the playoffs. And only one's going to win. Wow. So I yearn for the day that we can have the parade in San Diego. But I'm just a realistic guy that just says, make me into the playoffs. And then we'll see how we do in the playoffs and call
where
the
chips lie, Yeah. But no, I completely agree. Let's check into the poll again. We have 8 or so people watching right now, so let us know in the poll. We've got some more votes coming in as we speak. Last chance, get your votes in. 1 is you're not worried at all. 4 is you're very worried. 2 is like a little bit worried. 3 is like pretty worried, but not like losing sleep over it. So get your votes in if you're in the chat right now. Also, let your thoughts be known in the chat. I got Mike Traverso, Oz, and Tamara letting their thoughts be known, but everybody else, feel free to drop your thoughts. I'm going to end the poll right now. Gentlemen, I don't know if you're looking at it live or not.
I do not see it.
So that's fine. That's great. So now I'll have you guess people that are watching the show live.
I'd say there's I bet you there's more 3 and below, 1, 2, and 3, or excuse me, 1 and 2s than there are 3 and 4s.
That's your thought?
Yep.
Okay. Jack, where you're muted, I don't know if you can come off mute. Well, then give me what do you think?
I say more threes.
More threes than ones and twos?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the results are in. Tied for the most votes is 1 and 3 with 42% of the vote. And then 2 is in third with 14%. So Jerry was right. More ones and twos than threes and 4 because there is nobody in the chat watching this live that picks 4.
Yeah.
And
Again, that, I think, I brought it up earlier, but I do think that this weekend and even the next week is really going to show a lot more. I mean, we're starting to run out of games. I mean, that's easy to call. Yeah. But I really looked at the schedule a couple of weeks ago and saw this weekend and said, wow, this is a really important weekend. And even back then, when everybody was still mixed up, I was like, that's going to tell a lot, because the good thing for us is the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Brewers are all still going for first place.
Yep.
They're trying to get to one of those 1 or 2 spots. So they're going to put all guns out there. This is not one of those, one of those scary ones where you get to the end of the season and one team really doesn't have much to play for. And that, I think that's what happened this last week. You got the Mets getting to play Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Like they don't care.
Yep. Yeah. You're 100% right. And that's but the rest of the way, I saw it today on Twitter that the Mets have the toughest schedule left out of everybody that's a playoff contender.
No, they have to play
right
some
now.
Big games.
Yeah, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at their schedule coming up. So this weekend they will play the Phillies in Philadelphia. They will have 3 games with the Nationals, but hey, they just took 2 out of 3 from
and
the Braves.
They're playing Yellows, a young team. Yeah. Yes. Then a 4-game set against the Phillies.
Yep. Then a 4-game set against the Phillies, where they're trying to clinch, to your point, Jerry.
Yeah.
And then they're playing the Braves, so we win either way there because that's them beating up each other.
I think that's the reason that our percentage on FanGraph is so high, is because they both can't make it. It's there's just too many like opponents that somewhere along there they both can't win.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And then the Brewers one is definitely, if the Brewers are still fighting for it, as tight as it's been all this way, unless somebody takes off, they're going to be fighting for 1 or 2. I can almost guarantee you the Brewers are going to be fighting for 1 or 2 in the seedings. So
they are. Yeah, they really are. And that's a big deal too, right? Because then you don't have the wild card, which can be a crapshoot. You can have a really hot team come and play you in that wild card round, 3-game series. That 6th seed. That 6th seed last year went all the way to the World Series.
Right. I think the good thing for us too, is brought up last night and was watching the telecast, is the Padres are a better road team.
Yeah, they are.
I'd love to have the games at home. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to give away the advantage, so to speak. But the Padres, I think, are the 3rd best in Major League Baseball on the road. Again, get in and then worry about the seeding. I think that's our.
So that is the Mets schedule. Jack, do we have you back? Are you?
Yes, I'm back. My power cord wasn't working.
Oh no. Okay. Well, you have power now. Hopefully.
I have power for a few minutes.
Oh, for a few minutes?
No.
Oh. Okay. All right.
I'm stressing over my power cord's like a 10 right now.
Oh, okay. All right, let's take a look at the Diamondbacks schedule. We gotta do the Braves schedule too. Sorry, Braves schedule. Pull them up. So out of all of them, the Braves and the Mets are the ones fighting. I would say Diamondbacks. I don't know.
I think they're all in it, Jay. I mean, I know it's late, but the 1 and a 1.5 is not that big of a deal. That's not really that much of a separation where you sit there and say, "Oh, wow, we got them beat."
No, you're right.
This isn't the last weekend of the season kind of stuff.
So they got a 4-game set against the Dodgers.
Then they get the Reds, which is
the Reds, that's
who are not playing very well right now,
and the Marlins.
But the Reds have owned the Braves, I think.
Yeah,
it's true.
No, actually, it's the Marlins. that have owned the
you're right. The
Braves.
Marlins did beat them up.
And they're playing at Florida. But again, I worry about those 6 games because neither one of those teams really have anything to prove. There's no playoff aspirations, anything like that.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Plus, they traded 2 of their better players to us.
But then they close with that 3-game set against the Mets, so they have to beat up each other. And then they close with the Royals, who are fighting for a wild card. They're in it, but they still have to win it.
Again, that last 3 games may end up being for naught just because they may be out of it, the Royals. So
true.
Yeah. But it's not as strong as the Mets schedule, but it's at least got 6 to 8 games that are like, okay, they're going to really have to go after it here.
Yep. And then this weekend, for the Diamondbacks, they're facing the Brewers.
Yeah. They got 7 against the Brewers.
Yep. That's a lot. And the Brewers are playing and they're fighting for things.
Right.
They have 3 against the Rockies, and then they got 3 against the Giants. But Giants, they brought up all these young kids. Yeah. And they have something to prove. So, that.
Well, the one thing is that the Diamondbacks are the lucky ones this year. They get the last 6 games at home.
Yeah.
So, and now don't get me wrong. Somehow, miraculously, they'll find 40,000 fans that will be diehard fans all of a sudden for those last 6 games because they haven't drawn worth a hoot, despite the fact they went to the World Series last year.
To be honest, I think you'll see more Padre fans. There'll be a lot of Padre fans at those 3 games.
I'm probably too late, nor do I really want to drive there. But I'm saying about 2 months ago, I almost told my wife that let's go to that last 3-game series. Let's just go to Phoenix and go there. But now it's probably too late. I'm sure that a lot of the good seats have been eaten up and everything.
You'd be surprised. Let's go. Let's look. Let's buy tickets. Let's see what we got
here. I thought about it. Don't worry about it. I did think about it. I'm sure there's some seats, but I just.
Look at this 41.
My God,
we got field level here. We got
that's like going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We go up here in these nosebleeds. Yeah.
Well, I don't
see San Diego. Look what getting a winner cost you.
Yeah.
But and then the Padres rest of the way. We've got the Giants, Gigantes this weekend, which they took 2 out of 3 from us, and hopefully maybe we can turn it and flip it around and get 2 out of 3 from them. Ideally, Astros.
No
that's
Snell
a tough
again,
series.
and no Snell again.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
We got the Astros, which they're a playoff team.
And I hope we don't have to face Valdez. That's for sure.
Yes. Got pitching a no-hitter damn near every night.
Yeah.
And then White Sox, and then we got Dodgers and Diamondbacks. So it's not easy sledding for us, I feel like, towards the end.
No, again, aside from the Mets, I think we have a pretty tough schedule, but those 3 against the Giants and 3 against the White Sox, I can't get past them. It's like, come on, 5-1 right there, boom.
Yeah,
and that should.
And again, you go back to the magic number, to get to 90. Well, if you win 5 of those, I believe that puts us, like 3 away. I believe.
Yeah,
from
so
90.
That will be 3 away. We'd be at 87. 87.
So you sit there and say, okay, well, if we do that, then
we need to win 1 game in the rest of those series.
9 other games. All you got to do is win 3 of them.
Yeah. So, but again, you gotta do the work on the teams that you have that opportunity against, so that it doesn't come down to somehow needing to win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers or 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks, which I think they're perfectly capable of doing.
Right.
Yeah. I think if you look at the 3 teams in the National League West, I think pitching wise, starters through the bullpen, we have the best, but I think their offenses are more explosive right now.
I would say so.
I mean, they have to be because their pitching is so bad.
Well, that's how the Diamondbacks and Dodgers are pretty much won all year. They just outslug everybody, and there's something to be said about that. Again, history, 98 team, that's what we were. I mean, we just, we had so many guys that could hit the ball in the park. We had Finley, Caminiti, Vaughn, on and on.
And Ricky.
And Ricky. And
he wasn't
Tony. But the bottom line is if your lineup is that deep, you could just outslug everybody. And nobody's done that better than the Diamondbacks. And part of that was because they were missing Kelly for a lot of the year, and Gallen wasn't being Gallen. I don't like them, but I respect them because
but even Kelly hasn't come back.
I think they've put together a pretty good team. I don't think their bullpen's nearly as deep as ours, but they put it together a good team. I actually fear this is going to be this is going to sound funny. I actually fear facing them more than I do the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think
the Diamondbacks are a tougher team to beat.
Yeah,
I really do.
Agree.
I think a lot of it's the length of the lineup,
especially with Corbin Carroll hitting again.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. When we met him, and I was out there in Arizona watching back in May.
He's brutal.
He was hitting like 190, and now he's found a stroke.
Yep.
But it's that time of the year where the unknown guys come. I mean, Jack was texting me last night. I have to agree with him. When did Tommy Edman all of a sudden look like Aaron Judge? I mean, I said he needs to pee in a cup. On the scrap heap for 2 or 3 different teams lately, and now all of a sudden he's hit like 4 home runs in 6 games. I mean, it's just boom, boom, boom.
4 home runs in 2 games.
Yeah. It's just crazy. But that's what makes a lot with the Dodgers, but then they kind of
But then that happens a lot with the Dodgers lately, where the first few games they kind of crush and then they kind of trail off a lot of. Remember, was it Trace Thompson?
Yeah.
Yes.
He came on. It was like crushing it. His breath, and then all of a sudden he kind of just died off.
But sometimes again you have to give the other teams credit as far as their coaching. People talk about Niebla with us and how he turns these guys that are on the scrap heap and makes them great pitchers.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have done that for years with guys that they get off the scrap heap and they become really good hitters. So sometimes, you have to tip your hat and just say, something they're doing is.
Well, until this year, it used to be they would take pitchers and make them. Yeah. Their pitching is
haven't been able to do that lately. Yeah.
I mean, if Glasnow doesn't come back, Kershaw.
I got to say, Flaherty's pitching really, really good, and Yamamoto looked pretty good in his return. So I don't want to get caught up in the whole who's got the better pitching staff. Because guess what? You only need 3 pitchers. You get 3 good starters, and if you're in the first series, Dodgers won't be. But if you're in the first series, you just need 2, and that's what we got to worry about. We're going to play somebody that they only need 2 pitchers.
Yeah.
Once they get past, whether it's us or them, then our depth of starting pitching comes through. Then I would agree and say, yes, after the first series, we have a strength that I think nobody else has. We have 4 starters.
But we also have a strong bullpen.
Yes,
we do. I think we have at least in the National League.
Us in Cleveland
is unless we have that umpire. That umpire was the first game against Seattle when Tanner Scott threw.
We've had a bad stretch of the Giants and the Seattle series.
How is that a ball?
And you look at the umpire card, and again, I know it's not whatever. It's not you're not productive to complain about the umpires, but you look at that umpire scorecard thing for Laz Diaz, and 11 of the 13 bad calls were against the Padres for a plus 1.39 runs.
It can make a difference. You hate to lean on it, but it can make a difference.
Again, that whole 7th inning flipped around when he struck out.
He struck out 3 people.
3 people. Yeah, but he's like, luckily he stays pretty calm. If that had been Dylan Cease,
oh god,
we might have seen it again. I'll say it over and over again. That guy has tremendous stuff, but when he loses his focus, he's useless.
Well, it leads me to my next question. I said it to Jay, but I'll go ahead and ask it for you two. Let's just get rid of Jack's 7 or 8 and just say we made the playoffs. Jack, who's your 3 starters for a 3-game playoff series?
I would start with Matsui, and then
bullpen game 1.
I like to think I like to think outside the box.
Leave them guessing.
Like last night, King, because Jerry and I were talking back and forth, and King, the first 2 innings was unhittable.
Yeah,
his stuff was moving all over the place. Suddenly, walks 2 guys, hits a guy. Now, Cronenworth makes an error that
error is why it's a 3-run inning.
Yeah, but the 3 guys he put on base.
I understand, but it's a double play.
But Seattle can't hit, so you can't be putting 3 guys on base.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Cronenworth makes that play 99 times out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he? I mean, it wasn't a great
You said
throw.
The throw's a little low. Is it a Bogarts effect?
I think
no, that throw was waist high. That was all Cronenworth guys. Come on,
but it was behind him. It wasn't a great throw.
Come on,
I mean, but
guys.
I'm not. But Cronenworth still needs to make the play. He needs to make the out. You have to get that out. But I love King. Dylan Cease, if I could count on him. What Dylan Cease am I get? No hitter Dylan Cease, or they call that a ball. I'm going to lose the game because I can't focus. I'm so you can see it when he turns around. You got the center field camera. He's
so what would be your 1, 2, 3?
I'm going to go. Well, Darvish looked really good on 2 bad pitches, but
it's a Mariners team that's not good at hitting though. So
yeah, I probably would start with Musgrove, and then go with King.
Okay, and then 3 would be Cease or you?
Cease, and then Darvish would be 4. Again, it depends how they end up. If Darvish comes back and is Darvish of old, where he goes 7 innings and gives up a run or 2, then I might start Darvish. Joe Musgrove. Am I getting the Joe Musgrove I had, or the one where he just completely lost it in the 4th inning?
He had him in tipping pitches, right? We'll save that.
That's what people are saying.
So as long as Musgrove figure out whatever the hell the Giants figured out that 1 inning, I would go Musgrove 1, no Joe. Then I would go Cease with a short leash and King with a short leash, and then I would back them both up with you, and that's it. And then our relievers. That's my 1, 2, 3. So no Joe, Cease, and then King. Jerry, where do you stand on that?
Well, I always think of the pressure of the opening, but I also think of the pressure on the back end if you're the number 3. So I want Musgrove number 3 because I want him available to be able to be the veteran presence, the guy who's been there, the guy who pitched the game 3.
You're right.
I think that's good. I think King is pitching better than any of them. And again, this is 3 weeks away, but I'm presupposing if it were today, if they were starting it today, sure, I would want King, Cease, and Musgrove, and only because you has not shown me yet that he's fully back.
Yeah,
that's the only reason. Otherwise, it's Darvish right off the bat. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind.
One question: can Musgrove have shiny ears?
Well, and so I asked it that way, the way that I did, because the point needs to be made. We may not get a choice, or Schilt may not get a choice, because if they're in a dogfight all the way to the end, you got to get in before you worry about what your rotation is going to be, on Tuesday,
Yeah.
So I think that, but, I kind of kept it in its simplest form. The other thing I wanted to ask, but I didn't send to you, is you generally get into the 3-4 relievers that you don't use, but you also have 3 or 4 that you're going to use. I think I could speak for all of us, but tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I don't want to see Peralta, and I really don't want to see Matsui, and I don't want to see Morahan. Yep. Those are the 3 that I really, unless it's just absolutely you're down by 7 or you're up by 8, I just don't feel really good with any of those guys.
Yep.
I'll take Hoeing, I'll take Adam, I'll take Scott, and I'll take Suarez. That's the 4.
Those are your top 4.
Yeah.
And then your Estrada's in a pinch,
he could be the middle guy, the long inning guy, if you're in a 4-3 game after 3 innings because both starters got, beat up or something like that. But I don't want to see those other 3 guys. I just have no confidence in none of them.
More home last night.
Home runs waiting to happen is what the problem is. Yeah.
Maury Home is frustrating because he has electric stuff.
Yeah, but he's kind of a head case.
He's always been that way, though. He's your Dylan Cease. He's your reliever, Dylan Cease.
Yeah. One little thing, because that Mets series, he, what's his name? Snell had to be pulled kind of early, and it was Morahan that gave up all those runs, right? Had that bad inning that they won game 2.
You talking about last season?
No, the 2022 season, the postseason.
Oh, postseason.
Oh, gosh.
That Snell game, it was game 2. I think Morahan was the one that kind of let that thing get blown open, the one they won.
I just think, that, he's still a young man. The other thing is his seasons have been shortened a lot by injuries, and so he may be struggling with the innings pitched and things like that. And I think you got to take it on a case by case basis. Hopefully, that when you get to the playoffs, you don't have to go deeper than 4 relievers. Yeah, and with the 3-game series, again, the 3-game series is the one that always scares me. You can put me in a 5 and a 7, and you know what? You can go through a lot of things. You can start including Estrada in the rotation, or Matsui or somebody like that. But 3-game series, you got to go with your best of the best. I don't care if it's the 5th inning and you're down 5-1. You still got to throw your best guys out there. So.
Yeah. Okay, it's do or die. Each game is so important.
Every game.
Mike Traverso, one of the starters has to be able to go deep, keep the bullpen from giving too many looks. It would be fun to see King come in as a reliever. No one wants to see Peralta. See, the thing is, I thought Peralta was solid for the Yankees, but I guess from
I was gonna offer him back, for maybe like Judge or something.
Well,
that would be a fair trade.
Yeah, bucket of balls or something.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe Michael could tell us, because I remember seeing Peralta pitch and seemed fine, but he has that look on his face like he's gonna crap his pants. I don't know what it's like every time out there. He's like scared to death, and I'm like going.
Well, the thing that scares me about
good stats.
Yeah, the thing that scares me about pitchers is the guys who give up the long ball. So. Take us down the road of Michael King. I think his first 7 starts, he gave up like 12 home runs. It was ridiculous. And we're wondering, okay, where is this going and everything?
We lost the trade.
And I believe in April and May, he'd given up 14 home runs. And since June 1st, he's given up 7.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing to me that I want my relievers in the postseason to be able to avoid. I want the guys who don't give up the long ball. And that's why Cease scares me a little bit. Because when he's on, he's unhittable. Yeah, he really is. Obviously, threw no hitter, but he's just got electric stuff. But when he's off, man, the ball seems to just always get out of the yard.
Oh yeah, because he can't locate. He doesn't use either his pitches or can't locate his fastball, and they can just sit on it.
Well, it's his slider. The thing is he's got a great slider when it's working, but if it hangs, it's slow pitch softball for these guys. You know. They've got that kind of reaction. You start toning down to an 85 or an 88, and they see that like it's a big old beach ball coming up there. So,
well, you said you're only going to have 3 starters, right?
Yeah.
In
the first series? Yeah.
I think the first series is King better coming in piggybacking.
I hate leaving the guy that's pitching the best on the bench in case. That's my argument. That's my argument about it right now.
I'm just throwing it out there because Michael said him relieving. Yeah. I said he does have
King has the experience of doing it.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, somebody brought it up on the Major League Baseball broadcast and was talking about there's a history of guys, really good pitchers, who have come in for the bullpen and just gotten blown up. I think it was Kershaw did. I think Baumgarten, back when he was in his heyday, one time came in.
Kevin Brown came in and closed out a game.
Well, he did, but I'm just saying there are cases where guys have come in and it's just not the norm for them.
Kevin Brown.
Yeah, Kevin Brown.
Against the Braves.
So, I worry about that, but I am adamant. You don't save your best guy for the in case we need him. Like, put him out there. If he's your best guy, they put him out there. Yeah.
So again, but what do you? So is Cease the reliever then in that?
No, Darvish. In mine, it was Darvish.
Darvish. Okay. Yeah. So are you King, Cease, Musgrove because your Musgrove is your anchor?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just think the King's pitching better than anybody, and I like the idea that Musgrove goes third because you're not throwing. If you win the first, here's the thing I say: if you win the first game, then you go Cease. If you lose the first game, then you might have to put Musgrove in next and then Cease because you can't wait for it. Same theory. You can't wait for your third pitcher. To if you're not going to get to the third game.
Yeah.
But the good side of that to me though is if King and Cease take care of the first 2 games, now you have Musgrove to lead off and potentially even pitch 1, 4, and 7 because they got the space in between the games.
Yeah. To me, I trust Musgrove the most because it's just when you need him the most, he's the most locked in.
He's clutch. He's proven it.
He has multiple times. The Mets series, the Dodgers series, like he locked in and pitched stellarly. So yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely. Speaking of Musgrove, though, that wild Giants inning where he was unhittable.
Yeah.
And then within 5 minutes, they put up a 6 spot. And I everyone was saying, I was like, I've never seen anything like that. Usually that means somebody was tipping their pitches.
Also, his velocity was still the same.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, guys, is that the 2 losses against the Giants, it was a total of 19 innings, right? The Giants scored all their runs in 3 of those innings.
Yeah.
That was it. It wasn't lengthy, hitting a lot and all that. It was literally bomb, 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 bomb. That was it. They got the sticks on the ball and they hit home runs. The one thing about the Padres is that we are built for more of the 5-3 game. We have a great offense, but we're really not. We can't outslug everybody every game, and that's why it's imperative that our pitchers keep the ball in the ballpark.
Yes,
make them earn it. And we got to get a little bit from the walks. And I know we've had some bad umpires. I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to say it's all that problem either. But our control, I mean, our pitchers, I don't know what it is they've got against an 0-2 count, but it seems like they've got it in their minds they got to make it 3-2 every time.
Yeah, because they get 0-2 and it's like away. Like
it just kills me. It's pitches. Like Nick. And if you saw the Greg Maddox special, I don't know if you finally got to see it or not.
I haven't watched it.
I remember about Greg Maddox was that made him great is that he didn't care if it was 0-2 or 2-2. He threw the pitch that he thought that he could get him out. And I think our guys have such electric stuff that they're looking to make the perfect pitch. And strikeouts kill. Because if you get too many strikeouts, your pitch count goes way up, and it may look good in the box score, but you're out there for an extraordinarily long time. Get them to hit a ground ball. There's nothing wrong with just getting a regular old out. And so when you got an 0-2 pitch, try and get them out. I'm not saying lay a fastball down the middle, but try and get them out. Make them hit.
That's been King. That was King's problem a lot in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
He'd have 4 innings pitch and 11 strikeouts, and you're like going, yeah, but his pitch count's already at 80 something. So
it's not just the strikeouts; it's the fact that he's going to 2-2 and 3-2 on every batter.
And that's what he did against, especially in the 3rd inning. He was throwing so many pitches. Again, he got screwed up. It should have been a double play.
Yeah,
but again, he walked 2 guys and hit a guy.
He walked the 9-hitter. I mean, what I love about Mike, what I love about him is he doesn't shy away when he screws up. And he said, like, no, it's not the air. I walked the 9-hole hitter.
Right.
Like, that's on me. Like that.
I like him. He's a good team. He's a good teammate. Good
he
guy.
is. And I also liked, I think it was in his most recent, interview during the game or whatever. He talked about that situational pitching of just like, well, is this where I need to strike him out, or is this where I'm trying to get a ground out? Like he's thinking of the pitches he needs to throw depending on the situation of the game, as opposed to just like, I'm going to strike them all out.
First year as a starter, he's still growing, guys. I mean, I know it's a whole season now, but he's still growing, and he's the first one to admit it, and good for us, man. This guy's going to be around for a couple more years, man. I'm excited about having him on our starting staff.
What I like about King is when his interviews is he's not a meathead. He's not one of those guys that just has tremendous talent and can get people up. He's smart. I mean, like you said, he knows what they gave him an extra. He goes, I can stay around for another inning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because he's funny, he's entertaining.
Yeah.
He's a lot like Snell.
Yeah,
I'd say Snell's the better in-game interview.
He's definitely but he's
dog.
There's some guy. I'll send you some. No, there's some guys that they do it, and you're like going, okay.
Yeah,
it's like I love Dylan Cease, but when they do the one, I'm like, okay, he's not Mr.
Oh, and he is very intellectual. He's very intellectual.
He's almost too intellectual. He's just like very.
Yes, that's what it is. He starts analyzing too much. But I like King. King is, like you say, he's funny with Mud and Don and all that stuff. But he's a smart guy. I'm glad we got him from the Yankees.
And we won the Soto trade. Sorry, Mike. No,
sorry. The only thing is, Higgy seems to be struggling a lot lately. Is it just me, or does he just seem like he's maybe worn down a little bit?
He hasn't hit a home run in a while. It's not been forever, but it's been a while. That's the comings and goings of the baseball season, and it becomes maybe a little bit the light shines a little brighter at this time of the year because, quite honestly, Merrill hasn't been special in a couple of years. good, but he's not been special. Like
he struggled in Seattle. He had some bad at bats in Seattle.
He's his chase rate is up. They wrote an article about the three young'uns, and and Churio. That was the one guy gave him the rookie of the year. Churio, the rookie of the year over Merrill, and he said the biggest defining factor is that they both started slow as far as their chase rate, but Jackson Merrill has not improved his at all, and Churio has gone way down on his chase rate. So
I said a few weeks
ago, a little bit of the strike zone would help, but I don't know. Maybe he's just getting a little tired too. Again, we talk about pitchers a lot getting tired.
Well, plus he hit his knee too. I mean,
but he just, even before that, Jack. It may be a perception. I don't have the stats in front of me to prove it, kind of thing. But it just seems like it's just not there like it was. I mean, he was just maybe it was because he was being a hero so often. I got used to that.
Yeah.
But again, that's happened to Profar. Recently.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, before Arise went on this 30-game tear, he was struggling for a while. So,
but it's
going to happen. Exactly, that's going to happen to everybody.
Like
but
right now,
you want everybody there. Now,
I'm just saying with Higgy, he's been playing probably a lot more than he's used to playing. And
of course,
and especially in the catcher position, because you couldn't count on Campy. So
that's why I love that we brought Elias Diaz in, and now we've sent Campy down.
And I'm glad we sent Campy down, because to me, that was keeping Diaz from getting any game time.
It was.
And it's also was
at a detriment, I think.
Yeah, that could have been part of the problem with the pitching.
Absolutely.
His framing is not as good, and his
we talked about it last week. Yeah, last week we talked. Jay brought up all the framing and the blocking, and it's like, Diaz is a much better defensive catcher. So,
and I was saying with Merrill, I think I said a couple weeks ago, I said next season I wouldn't mess with him this season. He has to work on getting more walks.
Yeah.
Again, this season, keep doing what you're doing.
Or not next season, walks, but not swinging at everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of times though he could walk, and he swings it. He fouls him off. I go, Jesus, that was like 4 feet out. Arise does the same thing.
He does,
but it's just like sometimes, hey guys, take the freebie. Take the freebie.
Yeah. Michael's reverse. So Higgy isn't the guy you depend on runs for. I love that guy, but his defense is what he brings to the table. I know. I don't know if you've been watching him that much this season, though.
It's his offense.
He's slugged 16 homers in 50 games or whatever.
Well, it's what you want from some of your non-major players, for better words, right? Mm-hmm. You know the Machados, the Tatisas, the Bogarts. They have to have offense during the season, and they can't go on long slumps and prolong that. But guys like Higgy, guys like Peralta and Donovan Solano, I never expect those guys to go on 50-game binges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when they hit that one sweet spot of a week or 6 games or 12 games, that's what you need. And Higgy provided that. I believe it was July, where he just went crazy. Yeah. I think he hit like 8 home runs that month, and that's frosting on top of the cake kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because that's not a guy that you're expecting to put the runs on the board for you. And you need that, because guess what? Even Machado and Bogarts and such, they're not always going to be hot.
Yeah, they're going to cool off too,
for carrying everybody. Yeah.
I was going to say, what are the odds we trade for Cal Raleigh in the offseason?
Just so we don't have to face him? Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's got 9.
No, there's probably a short list sitting in Schilt's office of guys. It's like, hey, AJ, could you just go get these guys so we can face them? Used to be Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, Charlie Blackmon.
Max Muncy just absolutely kills us.
Max Muncy.
He kills us.
Yeah,
he does. He kills us.
But I think we've talked about it on this show before, but I would never want Max Muncy on my team. I hate Max Muncy. I hate his face.
Once he becomes
he's a great player though.
He is.
Once he becomes a Padre.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I can't stand him.
But no, I was going to say one last thing. Yeah. How good is it to have Tatis back in the outfield?
Yeah.
Not even 100%. Not even 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, 2 games back to back. He had the assist, the throw out for the double, that was crucial for that Darvish.
No, it makes a difference. Makes a difference, and it seems to come in waves too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to come in waves where just all of a sudden he'll go, 3 or 4 3 or 4 games where he just makes a difference,
Yeah.
And again, that's what you gave him the big bucks for, is to be that guy both offensively and defensively.
And that home run he hit last night. Oh my God.
Smoked it.
Yeah.
That out in a couple seconds?
Well, it's kind of cool. I don't know if you, I
That's
think it was
classic
in today's.
Tatis.
It is. And the AC Daily, I think it was today. He was just like, he was throwing mostly heaters. So he's like, I'm just going to sit on the fastball. And if he throws, I'm just going to try and hit the crap out of it. And that's what he did.
Well, Tatis is a guess hitter. I've always felt that way. He's one of those guys, because you can tell sometimes he swings at a ball that's just 5 feet outside, and you're like, no, he was just ready to hit. He thought he was going to get a fastball, and it ended up being a sweeper or whatever.
Yeah.
And, he already made his guess. He's going to swing at this pitch, and it's obviously proved him very well and everything.
Yeah,
I wish you'd get a magic 8 ball.
Exactly.
He has the bat speed and power, like just the way his swing is, like that's just what it's optimized for. But yeah, no, but then when Tatis is right, he's hitting the Oppo tacos, and he had that yesterday too.
Yeah. Well, we say that about almost all the power hitters.
Mm-hmm.
When they're right, they're hitting them to right center, left center. Yeah. They're using gaps. I almost get worried, and not everybody is Will Myers, but I almost get worried when they start hitting a couple down the line or something like that. And you're like, okay, don't start getting pull happy now, where everything's got to go to left field or, for a left-hander to right field.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say that of all the years I've watched Machado, I think he's going to right center more than he ever has.
Yeah.
He used to be kind of one of those pull guys, and I think it's serving him well.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's smart because they're throwing him outside.
Yeah. So he's just taking it that way.
It's like Bogarts used to do that a lot, and they pitch Bogarts outside all the time, and he's letting those strikes go by.
Well, the thing about Bogarts is what I've noticed, and this is not really a knock as much as just observation. He doesn't have power to right center. His power is pull, but he is hitting singles to right center. So it's not that, to me, he's getting out anymore as much as he just doesn't have the power to right center. I most of his home runs are pull or left center, but I don't see him going to right center very much. Whereas Jackson Merrill and Machado, I'm never breaking it. Even Profar, a lot of times they hit the oppo, better than they do the pull. Now Tatis, he's still a pull hitter, man. I mean, that's what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah.
And that comes from him guessing. I don't know why anybody would throw him a fastball. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I would tell my pitchers, I don't care. Throw him straight sweepers. I just don't throw him a fastball.
Yeah,
because he kills fastballs.
He does. All right, let's close out on Manny Machado breaking the Padres' all-time home run record that stood for over 50 years by Nate Colbert, Nate the Great. Thoughts on a lot of people are like, God, they only had 163. It's kind of, but it's just one of those things. You haven't had a slugger stay around for a long time. But thoughts on Machado finally breaking the long-standing Nate Colbert record. Jerry, what's your thoughts?
I'm good with it. Part of me just being old, I watched Nate Colbert. There's no doubt Nate Colbert had more power than Machado. I'll say it.
Oh, yeah.
Nate Colbert had to put up with a 19-foot wall. I think they estimated it was like 19 balls hit the wall that would have been over.
The year he had 78.
10-foot fence.
I mean, 38. The year he had 38.
So, but the bottom line is I'm happy because Manny's going to continue to hold it until Fernando gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's my estimation. Manny will finish his career hopefully with 300, as a Padre, and then Tatis will break it about 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah, as long as Tatis stays healthy, that's
but good for him. Look, it's still an accomplishment. I kind of get embarrassed as a Padre fan that 163. That's really all we've ever had. But then, if you know the history of the Padres, it's because everybody walked away.
Well, our all-time hit leader. Okay, not every team has
that one. I'll be okay.
Hits.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right.
Yeah, but when you see franchises have got 5 guys over 500,
I know.
Is a Yankee fan in here still? They've done all right with home runs.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Jack, what's your thoughts?
My thought is when he was doing the after game, when he's doing the post game, when he was talking to Don and Mud, it was how he's grown up.
Yeah.
And he admitted
Agree.
because I had said something in the chat where he that strike that it was called a strike was outside. It was on the one where he hit the home run, and I said, a few years ago, Manny would have gotten pissed, and it would have been either got thrown out of the game or he would have struck out. Yeah. He said, he goes, you know what I've learned, they're human, they're going to make mistakes. Yeah. I said, okay. And he just kept fouling off the low pitch. And for whatever reason, the guy threw him a fastball. And I'm like going, well, that was stupid. And then Manny crushed it out of the park. So, it's just like.
Of course, 2 days later, Manny got ticked off at a called strike. And on his way to first base, he threw his helmet down. So
that was 2 days before, I think. That was the Giants,
was it 2 days
wasn't it?
Maybe... was that when he learned his lesson?
He maybe.
No, what I'm saying is the answer. He's not the Manny of old. He's not the.
He's still got a little heat in him, and that's okay. I don't
mind that. I'm saying where he just loses so focused and he just gets. I mean, how many times have you been thrown out of a game? You're like, no, Manny, you can't get thrown out. No, Manny, damn it, he got thrown out of the game because he's. Let's face it.
I think Peter Seidler had a very profound effect on Manny. I really do. So. You find out that how close they were. And let's face it, man, the guy's now he's in his 30s. We all had lessons to learn when we were 22 and 25 and coming up and everything. And
I'm still waiting.
And I'm glad because I don't like Manny the hothead. I like, I think it's a great honor that he got nominated for the Roberto Clemente Award for the Padres. So that tells you a little something. So good for Manny. I'm not Manny's biggest fan. I'm not, but he's a great ball player. So
I love me some Manny. I just
to me, what I love about him is it's that the ease at which he plays and just that kind of that composure that I enjoy. Some people find it's lackadaisical or whatever, but when he's on, he just has this swagger to him that I really dig and enjoy.
Yeah, short of Brooks Robinson, the best third baseman I've ever seen defensively.
Right, and I know Chapman gets a lot of love, and so does Arenado, justifiably. But Manny
Caminetti.
When you're talking about the extreme plays, like I said, Brooks Robinson's the only one that comes to mind to me that you can compare him to, because Brooks Robinson, you look at the '69 World Series and some of the plays he made, and it's just like Manny. Like he is like 5 feet to the left of third base, and he's throwing it across his body and getting the guy out. And he possesses an arm that's just unbelievable. I think that's the thing about Manny. You see him going off to the side, and the ball just, it's over there, and it doesn't even look like he's getting behind it.
Yeah.
Me, I'd have to set on my right foot and then, really, get my body into it. Everything. He literally just,
me personally, I'd need to throw it to the pitcher for cutoff.
But yes, so happy for Manny. I think it's great. And
I'm glad he's on our team.
And remember,
glad he's on our team.
Yeah.
Colbert's career was cut short because he had back issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we were lucky to get. I think we got him in the expansion draft.
We did.
Yes, we did.
From Houston.
14th pick, I believe it was in the expansion draft.
Because Ollie Brown was our number 1 overall pick.
Right, exactly.
Downtown Ollie Brown.
And rightfully so. Ollie Brown was a heck of a player.
He was a good. I loved Ollie Brown.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to close it out. Ziggy, great show, boys. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for watching, Ziggy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Mike Traverse. So today I learned Tony Gwynn didn't hold all batting records for the Padres. No. Well, he was up there.
Somewhere around 95%, but
yes.
Well, he doesn't hold the all-time strikeout.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Who is that? Would it be Tatis already?
Well, it's got to be someone that was around for a while. Let's see. I don't think it can't be Tatis. He's been hurt too much.
That's fair.
That's always that's one of those trivia questions, and I don't know the answer. But who has the longest tenure hitting wise? Or player wise, not pitcher? The longest tenure Padre besides Tony Gwynn?
Ooh, that's a great question.
And I'm going to have to look it up because I don't know.
Oh, sorry, hitter. Position player.
I don't know the answer, so
I would say Templeton, Gary Templeton. He was around a while.
No.
Terry Kennedy?
So
Terry Kennedy?
I think it might be somebody like a Tim Flannery or something like that. I mean, literally the amount of years. But again, I don't know the answer. But
Eric Owens.
Eric Owens was only like 2 or 3 years. I think Gary Templeton was for a while.
But you know who it might be is Mark Loretto, maybe.
No,
he wasn't around that long.
2 or 3
He
years.
was around a long time. Anyway.
Well, thanks for throwing that out there without having the answer.
Well, hey, you know what? People watch this. People watch this on the replay. Drop it in the comments if you know who. Ziggy saying Templeton.
I think that's a good guess.
I think Templeton is the one I would pick. Hedges for most strikeouts. Austin Hedges. You know.
Oh, I thought he was talking about hitting. I said no. It's got to be a hitter.
Yeah,
you got to be able to hit the ball.
Oh man.
But
he has a ring.
He does have a ring. He does.
So do I.
On that note, hopefully we'll get one soon as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the bell so you don't miss out on future episodes of Padres Talking Padres this Thursday nights at 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific Standard Time. And when we come here next Thursday, maybe we'll have a much firmer understanding of where we stand. We'll see if Jack's numbers keep rising on the worry charts.
I can't. Where's the rest of the hair going to fall out?
Probably the hair on my back. If you tune in next week and Jack's profusely sweating, then you'll know he was right. Yeah.
I'll have no nose hairs, no ear hair.
As I said, see you next time, guys. Yes, let's see you all next time. Until then, hasta luego. Goodbye.
Bye.
Arrivederci.